You may have heard that the Social Security earned income limit limits how much money you can make if you draw Social Security early. But how does it really work? I'm going to explain that in this video, but first let's define early. You can draw your Social Security retirement anytime between age 62 and age 70. So you have a big span of time, and it's your choice when to take it. But if you choose to take it earlier would be before your full retirement age. Every day I get people that say, is my full retirement age 65, like Medicare? No. That was changed 40 years ago under President Ronald Reagan. Get my free Social Security and Medicare cheat sheet if you want to know when your full retirement age is. It's based on the year you were born. The link is below in my bio. So I was born in 1966. Anybody that was born in 1960 or thereafter, we will all have the same full retirement age, which is age 67. So if you were born before 1960, get my cheat sheet, find out when yours is. It goes up in 2-month increments. So if you want to take your Social Security retirement prior to your full retirement age, so for me, it would be prior to age 67, anytime between 62 and 67, they limit how much money you can make. And people say, why would they do that? It's my money. I paid in. They give me my money back. Why are they limiting it? I can't get in a philosophical argument with you. I can tell you what the government says. These are not my words. The government says it's not your money. First of all, I'm not going to go into what they call it, and nobody likes it. They call it an entitlement. Nobody likes that. But I will tell you that they don't consider it you getting back your money. They consider it money for retirement that you qualify for under their system, and that it's for retirement. So retirement means you're not working. If you want to draw your Social Security early and continue to work, which a lot of people do, 62 is young, 62, 63, that's young. If you want to continue to work, they consider you not retired, so they say you can have your Social Security. We will reduce it because you're drawing it earlier than your full retirement age. It was meant for your full retirement age. And we will limit how much money you can make. That's your earned income limit. That goes up every year. For 2025, that is $23,400. Is it gross or is it net? And I love to say this. It's a little bit silly. I love to say, yes. It is gross if you're an employee, if you have a W-2 paycheck. It is net if you are self-employed. So is it gross or is it net? Yes. That is the maximum annual amount that you can make. If you exceed that amount, for every $2 you go over, they reduce your Social Security by $1. So if you go over it by $20,000, they will reduce your Social Security by $10,000, which means once they find out, they stop your Social Security. You will only get 50% of your benefit each month until you repay that debt. Now, the 50% repayment of the debt, that is accurate as of May 2025. If you would have asked me in March of 2025, it was 100% repayment. If you would have asked me in April of 2025, it was a 10% repayment. It's changing, in other words. For many, many years, it was 100%. It's at 50% right now. It could go back to 100% by the time you watch this video. So make note of May 2025, it is 50%. So you want to ideally not get yourself in this situation. This is the typical bad decision that people make. So they say, hey, I'm 62. I have a good job. I'm going to continue to work and I make $80,000. But I want to get my Social Security. I want to double dip. Why not? It's my money, right? I want to get my money. So they file for Social Security. If you take it early, you get a permanent reduction. They're like, that's fine. Something's better than nothing. If I draw at 62, you get a 30% reduction every month for the rest of your life. It never changes. That reduction will follow you when you do reach your full retirement age. It will follow you when you do become age 70. So be clear when you draw it that you're locking that amount in. Now, if you are a spouse or you have the potential to become a widow, that's a whole different track of Social Security. I go over that, the very different rules in my other videos. But if I'm drawing my own retirement and I want to draw at 62 and I want to work full time because I want to double dip, I'll get one check. If I don't report to Social Security how much I expect to earn, and I say I'm going to be retired. So they're going to keep paying me until they find out how much I'm earning. Now, how will they find out? If you don't self-report, which I highly recommend you do, notify them and tell them how much you're going to make so they can stop paying you and you don't get in an overpayment situation, the dreaded overpayment situation. But you don't know that. You don't really understand how Social Security works. So you file for it, you start getting your benefits, you're working full time, nothing's happening, no reduction. They said nothing's happening. They don't know how much you're making. So when you file your taxes at the end of the year, the IRS will then talk to Social Security. Boom, they see that you were overpaid. So in the far past, all your Social Security checks stopped and you were in a panic because you didn't have any money to live on in many cases. Now they will give you 50%, which still might create a hardship, and you can't live on 50% because you've lost your job since then, since last year when this all happened. And now you have to live on only your Social Security and you can't live on 50% of it. You can file for a hardship waiver and show proof that your rent and your healthcare bills are going to exceed this 50% and you won't be able to live on it. So it's not easy, but it is possible to file for a hardship waiver. In most cases, you are just going to have a reduced check until you've repaid the debt. And I rarely get asked, can I just write them a check to pay it back? You could, but most people don't have that money to exercise that option. So that the idea here is understand the rule, understand the earned income limit, and don't exceed it or exceed it minimally so that it doesn't really hurt you. I had somebody contact me and they were worried because they went over $500. So if you go over, for every $2 you go over, they reduce your Social Security by $1. They were going to reduce their Social Security by $250. And I don't want to say that's inconsequential because it might be to somebody, but that's not a big deal. It's when you go over it by thousands of dollars that they get you in a big overpayment situation. It's always good to set up a free account at socialsecurity.gov. And then again, keep them updated on what your expected earnings are so they can turn off your payment before you get into an overpayment situation. Remember, if you're in an overpayment situation, it's not a new law, but they resurrected this law, is the Treasury Offset Program, which means if it's tax time and you're looking for that refund, my daughter got her refund yesterday. She was very excited, showing me her check. Wasn't a lot of money, but she was excited. She's young. You won't get that check because Social Security can get your tax refund from the IRS to pay back your overpayment. Again, you just don't want to get in an overpayment situation. So if I'm getting ready to retire, a lot of people say, well, should I retire in December or January or February? And does it really matter? Just do it at the beginning of the year. It's cleaner if you can. There's a lot of wiggle room there. But if you can retire, so it's January 1st, that's perfect. Social Security counts your income towards this earned income limit once you go on Social Security. So if I go on it at the beginning of the year, we're cool. Nothing from last year counts. It's a clean year. I can make $23,400 of gross annual income. People say, how many hours can I work each month? It's not by hours. It's by gross annual income. Now, if you start mid-year, not in January, it's a totally different ballgame. Now you have a monthly prorated gross or net amount that you can't exceed monthly. So let's say I start my Social Security in July. Okay, I got 7 months left of the year. So of this year, 2025, that means I can make $1,950 gross income per month. If I exceed that, I get the reduction. So that's why I said it's sweet. If I would have just started in January, then I had the whole year to look at. Now, the year that you reach your full retirement age, the government is more lenient with you. So the amount of money you can make before you get into the reduction, instead of being $23,400, it's like $62,000. So it's more than double. And these amounts that I'm talking about are for 2025. The exact amounts are in my Social Security and Medicare cheat sheet. Click on the link below in my bio and you can get it for free. But this does change every year. So if you downloaded our cheat sheet, you will get the updated cheat sheet when we update it every year with the new numbers for the following year. You don't have to request it. We'll automatically send you the new one next year. So these numbers for 2025. So in the year I reach my full retirement age, I can make more money. And for every $3 I exceed the earned income limit, they'll reduce by $1. So they give you a big break. So if I'm reaching my full retirement age this year, I can make a lot more money before they take it away. Then after my full retirement age, you can make as much money as you want from any source for the rest of your life. It's your money. So in my case, 67, for the rest of my life, nobody cares how much money I make. I talk a lot in my other videos about different sources of income, passive versus active income. And that's a video you might want to check out. I'll just briefly say that the earned income limit limits your active income, your wages, if you have a W-2 job, if you're not self-employed. It doesn't limit at all. It is not impacted at all by your pension, because you're like, ooh, my pension's more than $23,400. Ignore your pension. Ignore your VA, your veterans disability benefits. Ignore your interest, capital gains, alimony, child support, workers' comp, lottery winnings, royalties, money you make on Etsy, those are all considered passive. Anything that will hurt you, that will cause you to reduce your Social Security, would be going to work. You're punching a time clock. You have a job or you're self-employed. Not money you can make while you are asleep. So if I'm asleep, my 401k can go up. Passive. If I'm asleep, I can make interest on my savings account. Passive. I have to go to work to make money. That is what's going to be limited. So set up a free account at socialsecurity.gov. See how much you have paid in, how much you are estimated to get at each of those different ages. Before you draw, make sure you know what the accurate, up-to-date earned income limit is for your year if you're not watching this in 2025. All the time I get people say, I know I can only make $19,800. That's from like 4 years ago. It goes up every year. So get your earned income limit for that year. If you're under your full retirement age, or like I said, it's going to be almost triple if you're reaching your full retirement age that year. Make sure you understand what income will cause you to have your Social Security reduced, active income, what income you can completely forget about, not worry about, all your other sources of passive income. If you have more questions, you need to call the Social Security office. Our company, the MedicareFamily.com, we can help you with Medicare. Medicare doesn't start early. You can take Social Security early, 62, but your Medicare still won't start till 65. That's where we come in. Our help is with Medicare insurance. We're licensed in all 50 states. Our help is free, and we'll help you when you get ready for Medicare. If you need more help with Social Security, you're going to have to tough it out by calling the government. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you might really like this video. Check it out. And we'd appreciate if you subscribe to our channel so you never miss a great video. We put out one every week. Check in the description below this video for a link to our cheat sheet on Social Security and Medicare. And you can also give us a comment if you have a specific question. Always feel free to call us or email us at the Medicare Family.